This is Tailgate Talk, presented by Tarpon Blue.
Let's take a ride. In this series, we're going to show you everything Texas and its surrounding southern states has to offer, right here from our very own tailgate.
We'll take you from life on the farm and the ranch to the big city lights. This is Tailgate Talk. Come along for the ride. Hi, welcome to this week's episode of Tailgate Talk. I'm Katie Abrameit.
I'm Joey Van Hecke. This week we're in downtown San Antonio at the Riverwalk. We're going to take you on a tour of the Riverwalk and show you some of the neat things you can see and do down here. Stay tuned, guys. All right, everybody, the first stop here is the River Center Mall. Couple things you can do here. I remember as a kid, the IMAX being there. We went and saw the Alamo when I was in school. There's lots and lots of restaurants here. Margaritaville, Fogo de Chao, all kinds of outlets to go have a nice dinner on the river. So, Katie, what else is there?
Well, there's a mall. It's a great mall. Has a lot of, your typical mall shops. Has some other great, unique things too for tourists, gifts, souvenirs, stuff like that. But the mall is unique in the fact that it has a view of the river. So that's another great thing. Let's go see what else we can find to do, Joey.
Awesome.
Joey and I decided to start our tour of the Riverwalk by going on a Go River boat. We went to this shop here, right there at River Center Mall to purchase our tickets. And they also, fun fact, sell alcohol as well as ices and all kinds of beverages that you can get to take on the riverboat tour.
Once you're actually on the riverboat, you'll have a very knowledgeable guide. They'll tell you some of the history about the Riverwalk and what you can see as you're obviously viewing it. So this here, he's talking about some of the historic parts of it when it started. The idea was actually goes back to 1929. It took 10 years to build it. And a little fun fact, 11.5 million people visit the Riverwalk every year.
Did you know that the Riverwalk was actually part of the New Deal, Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal?
I did not know that, but I do understand that it helped get San Antonio out of the Great Depression.
There are a lot of interesting statues that you'll see along the journey down the riverboat. This one here is a statue of Saint Anthony de Pablo. You can also see a lot of different buildings and stuff. You'll see here in just a second, there's a clip of the steeple of St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church, which I believe is still practicing Mass, and it was originally a German church.
Another kind of interesting place and viewpoint is the Flame of Friendship. It actually is a sign of peace for the USA, Mexico, and Canada, and it's a really interesting statue.
The riverboats hold about 40 passengers, and they also rent those boats out for private events, so you could take your company and rent a whole boat or a couple of boats if you'd like. They do nighttime tours as well as daytime tours, and they're beautiful during Christmas time.
Here you're coming up on La Villita. This traces back to 1718 is when this was built. There's an authentic Spanish market there, so a lot of the tourists will go buy handmade gifts to take back, and it's a pretty cool area.
It's one of the oldest neighborhoods in San Antonio.
It's very interesting.
You'll notice that the Riverwalk does have a lot. It pays homage to its Mexican influence that is very, very relevant in San Antonio, and you'll see that here in just a second. The riverboat tour takes you by the 5 bells for the 5 missions in San Antonio, and the bell for the Alamo no longer rings because they do not hold Mass there, but the other 4 bells do ring throughout the day because they hold Mass at those 4 missions.
Here's the Briscoe Western Art Museum. There's a Vaquero statue out front with some longhorns. It's a very interesting place. Anybody that's into Western art should definitely put that on their list.
The Riverwalk takes great pride in maintaining its landscaping and taking care of the trees and all of the vegetation that you see along the boat tour and the walkway.
So here you'll see some of the historic hotels downtown on the Riverwalk. They make for a great getaway. And a little fun fact, the first hotel was built on the Riverwalk back in 1962.
You'll notice that a lot of the buildings on the Riverwalk are historic. Some of the buildings are original to the Riverwalk. They take great pride in the architecture. Some of them even have really cool aspects, like this building here has gargoyles. And then the other one there is the Smith & Young Tower. Some of these are used for apartments, some of them are hotels, and some of them are just businesses along the water.
So here's another location to buy your Go Rio tickets. You'll also see in the background there the Salina Proposal Bridge. Our guide mentioned that was the actual bridge used in the movie, so that was a pretty interesting thing that we saw on the tour.
The Riverwalk is full of restaurants, bars. It even has some stores like CVS and things like that. But it's a really great place. It has a great nightlife. It's a great place to go out if you're visiting San Antonio, or even if you are living in San Antonio, just to kind of get a feel for the city and for the culture of San Antonio.
So obviously one thing that's going to be high quality on the Riverwalk is the authentic Mexican food. And then there's a ton of photo ops that are available. So whether you're a local or a tourist, it's a great place to go check it out and enjoy your time on the Riverwalk.
That mural there, Joey, it's an interesting story. The artist that painted that also painted the famous wings in Nashville, where you can go and stand in front of the wings to take your photo. So if you were a person that likes to mark things off of your bucket list, like taking lots of photos, you can go and take your picture there and in Nashville and wherever else she has paintings. As we were wrapping up our tour, the tour guide pointed out this stargazing statue. He also said that it is a great place to watch the sunset on the Riverwalk. Joey, do you remember how tall that statue was?
16 foot.
Oh, wow.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Tailgate Talk.
I know I sure really enjoyed learning about some of the history of the Riverwalk here in downtown San Antonio.
And we'll catch you next time on Tailgate Talk.
Thanks for tuning in today, and thank you to our guests for sharing their story.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time on Tailgate Talk.
We'll tell you things you might not know. Just stay a while, we'll make you feel